Starting to the bottom right of the map, we have the Terran player. For LGIM in red it is
LGIM Yoda.
Yoda going up against the Zerg player today. To the top right, we have in blue for CJ Antus.
CJ Antus 송두리.
Yoda, his opponent, kind of one of those inconsistent players. We talked about this a lot earlier. He's definitely somebody who can have a great day or a terrible day, as we've seen in the past. So, really looking forward to seeing what he's going to show us today, because when he is on his on day, he looks unstoppable. He's always able to get those 3-3 upgrades out really, really quickly, and his mid to late game is impeccable if he can survive long enough.
Yeah, the thing that's definitely true about Yoda is that he was a little bit shaky against Zerg at first. Right now, if you look at his statistics, he is in a position where he has a 58% win ratio in this matchup offline, 14 wins and 10 losses. But most of those losses were actually all the way back in the past. So it seems that he figured out the Terran versus Zerg a little bit more just recently. And Songduri, he's one of those opponents where you don't really know what to expect. Yes, 8 maps played against Zerg. Against Terran, of course. And he was able to win his last 2 best-of-3s with the 2-0 each. He took down Hope and he took down SC. But before that, he lost to Light and Ganzi. So, not a lot to go on. But Songduri definitely one of those opponents where you're also questioning what exactly he's going to do. Will he play aggressive? Is he going for one of those Roach baneling attacks? Will we see him with a leader baneling composition in the late game? And what we actually see from him here is a quite early gas. So he wants to get that stim out early enough. He doesn't rely on this very mineral and queen heavy defense.
Yeah, he wants to get that speed out as soon as possible here. Definitely so. And he plays a build that's very greedy, but on Whirlwind it's a very normal build. And look at that, he actually allows the drone. Well, no, the drone wants to go for the SCV instead. He sees the CC first. There's not much reason for the drone to get in the main base, really. He's just going to continue to poke on the outside here, and he can actually use the wall against Yoda if that SCV doesn't move properly. And oh no, it moves the wrong direction. He kills it. And now he gets in.
And he gets in as well, so that is actually a little bit unfortunate here. Yoda doesn't want to go the... Songduri.
He could lose a second.
Go all the way with that. Yeah, he needs to stop building and then just shift it back so that the shift-in pattern comes into play. But he just switches the SCV out to get the SCV into the mineral line so that he can repair it. Or definitely not really the opening. He doesn't take you back all that much. Oops, but that's only true if you lose one SCV, and even that is already a little bit annoying.
Oh, he loses 2. Oh my god, Keller. And this is the kind of thing that might get into Yoda's head and might give him an off day. He's also got 2 idle workers there, losing a little bit of time.
Yeah.
This definitely could affect Yoda's mindset going into this game. You never want to lose even a single SCV, but 2, that's unheard of.
Yeah, if you lose 1 SCV, that's one of the things that you just can't live with. Of course, it's annoying, it costs you a little bit, but it's more of a psychological thing than anything else. But if you lose 2, that's suddenly starting to become a completely different story. So Yoda here, very sloppy in the early game with this micro, and Songduri, I mean, from him, that was actually like amazing. He went for that, and he really thought that he could get the second SCV and risk a little bit, and it was rewarded. He takes down 2 of the harvesters in the early game. Great start into this match.
Yeah, just really better microbio to him at the end of the day. There's always a little bit of randomness with that SCV, but Yoda definitely could have stopped building earlier and been a little bit safer with that. His factory is completed, and this is something that Songduri has already scouted with his drone. He knows that there was a gas very much earlier, and I think he even saw the factory. He can assume it's there regardless. He did see it. And, he's very comfortable now because he has his Zergling speed out so early.
Exactly. With the early Zergling speed out on the game, you're very well set up against the Hellions that your opponent is just bound to get into the picture. And of course, you also get the scouting information that you really want to have. We're not going to see like too much aggression out of Songduri if you open it just yet. He's already droning up and he pulled out of gas. But that early speed is just... It puts it in a very comfortable position, especially after this opening. And the Speedlings trying to have a quick look. They run in, and oh, there is no completed wall at the top either. So now the SCVs are being attacked. The Marines have to be pulled here. He needs to wait for those Hellions.
He needs to wait for those Hellions. You know, Songduri could have even tried to go on the main. He said there's no complete wall, but he knows the Hellions are coming, so he's just going to try to get what damage he can done here at the natural. And he will actually get one of these Hellions, it looks like. Nice micro by Yoda, saving it narrowly there. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised that we do not see that one SCV taken out by Songduri. He had the chance to do that. But in general, that was just a crazy opening by him, denying so much mining time, taking down the mule. That was so well worth it. It was just a few minerals that he invested here, and it paid off. Yeah. I did not expect him to be this aggressive, but it's a really good move by him.
It certainly was. And, you know, Yoda right now, is going to also be up against Roaches. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and add his starport here. But the Roach push that could come out next, he might just make a few Roaches defensively, but with the 04 Lord's making right now, I don't think so. I think he's going to make as many Roaches as he can afford.
Keep in mind that we do not have a lair tech yet, and he has Roaches. He will build quite a few of those, and that's not only to just fend those Hellions off. I don't think that he would have built 6 in that, but let's just wait a little bit and have a look what he's doing. With the third base that he's building, he certainly has a follow-up. He's going up to 10 Roaches now, and that's a pretty cool poke that he has there. So Yoda might be in a lot more trouble, especially since the banelingness is now coming onto the board. This is Songdery opening things up with a bang. Things started well, double drone kill, and then with the Hellions, with the Zerglings denying the mining time, but now he wants to go for a much heavier blow.
He knows that Yoda is so strong in the late game. He studied his players a ton of games out there in Terran vs. Zerg to study of Yoda, and he knows if Yoda gets to 2-2 or 3-3, it's so hard to deal with him. Additional bunkers being added now. Yoda has scouted this with the Watchtower. He knows what's going on. He's panicking a little bit here, but he has to just keep his cool, get those bunkers up, get those Widow Mines out. He can't make siege tanks. His stim is almost done. He wants to buy time for that, but there's just too much DPS here, Calder. I'm not sure he can hold.
He needs those bunkers, and you know he might just be able to get those out. He's building 4 Marines at a time now, and stim will mainly complete, I feel. This is one of those things where you can definitely make it work, but he needs good Hellion hits against those Banelings. The problem is that he didn't put those SCVs to the bunker at first, so the first bunker is already down. The double bunker in the end helps, but he needs to complete that wall to take a few of those Baneling hits.
Here come those Banelings. The bunkers are completed, but there's no Widow Mines left. They're all on cooldown. The bunkers are bursted.
And he moves back with all of the Marines right now. The SCVs are trying to escape as well, but the Baneling's already on the move, going up the ramp. He needs to lift that CC. He needs to control the choke point. More and more Banelings are actually detonating against the structures, and so far Yoda is doing a crazy job taking out the Banelings.
Yeah, Yoda's excellent micro here against the Banelings, but he's losing a lot of SCVs at the same time. Is it worth it here for Songdery? He's going to now lose all of his Roaches.
This is so going to be worth it.
And here come the Lings.
A crazy hold by Yoda. As long as he can defend against the Lings, and I think he will, this is an amazing position for him right now.
Yeah, takes out the last of the Roaches, and looking at workers right now, 32 to 52, 20 up for Songdery right now. Yoda has, yes, he has Medivacs, he does have Stim, but he doesn't have combat shields, he doesn't have eBay upgrades.
Well, one thing, I mean, Yoda with a really good hold here, only losing 16 SCVs while taking down all the Banelings, the Roaches, and the Zerglings. So for him, a really good position to be in. The one problem that he has is that he doesn't have the third CC. So he's down in Harvesters, which he can compensate for by dropping those mules. But it would be much better for him if he already had that third CC up, which would of course also mean that he would have had much fewer units to defend against this.
Yeah.
But as it is, he's moving out. And keep in mind that we don't have any real tech to mention for Songdery just yet. He's now heading into lair, but that's quite late.
Yeah, extremely late here. So mutas are knocking on the table for a really long time. He's going to have to deal with this drop play. Widow Mine here does not seem to be spotted. He needs to pull those drones. He selects and pulls away at the last second there.
Yeah, he could have done a little bit more with the Widow Mine if he just would have borrowed it a little bit earlier. But we have now Medivacs everywhere on the map, and Yoda has decided that it is time to show us his impeccable drop play, and that's exactly what we're seeing right here. Songdery really trying to fend this off, but I don't want to say that he's looking shaky in any means at this point, but without anything against the Widow Mine, he might be so much harder than a natural.
He doesn't have detection, of course. That Spore Caller nearly done.
Oh,
this is a bad idea! This is a bad idea, Songdery! This is a bad idea, Songdery!
Oh! 14 kills already by that Widow Mine. That was not worth it.
He gets the Widow Mine, of course, but definitely not worth it. That shot was actually good for Songdery. Hit mostly Marines, but this is the problem with having your layers so late. There's no Overseer, no Mutas to clean up the drops, so Yoda can literally ping-pong you around, just bouncing between the bases. The Zerglings alone, even though they're fast, they can't be in 6 places at once.
Hey, Yoda is now trying just to save those Medivacs, but I really have to say that his hold was crazy good. The problem for Songdery was really he didn't really know what he wanted to do. He was trying to take down the SCVs, at the same time he was thinking about going up the ramp, and Yoda exploited that. He saw that the only chance that he had was trying to focus those Zerglings or put them into a choke point, and that's what happened. And then he sniped them one by one with great micros. So Yoda with crazy good play, now once again up in his opponent's space, and nice. Takes down a couple of those things, but at the same time, kills them Medivac.
Yeah, he loses his Medivac, but not too full. Sees the Spire timing here with this drop, and is going to actually be able to go to the third base once again. And Yoda is just continuing to trade pretty cost efficiently here. May lose a Marauder, barely saves it. But Yoda's starting to take a great supply lead. He supply blocked his opponent. He is getting his upgrades up, a little bit behind, of course.
The worker supply, of course, for Yoda at this point is also quite decent with 54 and still producing SCVs. He has a very good income here. The army supply is heavily in Songduri's favor, but this is just a composition that he can't make work right now. It gives him a little bit of map control, but the problem is that he has nothing to shut those drops down just yet, and he needs something.
You know, he wants to make Mutas here, but he can't afford them just yet. With all the banelings, he has to morph. Now, good splits again here by Yoda. Excellent splits, in fact. And Songduri, he pushes it back, but he needs that gas for the Mutas.
And Yoda is just not stopping back at home. He's getting the double upgrades, and he's also going into Armory to activate the second set. The big problem for Yoda starts to be that Songduri has a very good macro game with his upgrade setup. So the upgrade lead for Songduri will give him a little bit of an edge. So Yoda should be a bit more careful maybe in the mid game and make sure that he doesn't overextend himself.
Yeah, that was very close. That could have done a lot of damage, that one Widow Mine. There are the Mutas. Finally, he gets a break. He gets the mineral bank he needed. Starts 12 Mutas here. He's going to have +1 for the Mutas. His Overlord speed almost ready to help his Overseers out. His 2-2's coming up here. And you know, the only thing that Yoda really has against Songduri is a very secure third base. But how long is that going to stay secure is the question. Songduri, I feel, if he wants to, after he puts on a little bit of aggression with his 2-2, could easily take a fourth base to the top of the map.
The thing is that I personally really like Yoda's choice here. He was very aggressive when he knew he could be, but now he's trying to take it a little bit more easy. As long as he can defend those 3 bases, he's gonna be fine. He did damage at the beginning of the game, he fended off his opponent's attack, and now he's on 3 bases. He knows that his opponent is on 3, even if Songduri takes a 4th right now. So Yoda is gonna be fine with this, because the 2-2 is now gonna finish, and Songduri does not go into an infestation pit just yet. So as long as Yoda can hold those 3 bases and get his 3-3 upgrades out and build up that army, he will just move out once that he has the army size and the upgrades, and then Songduri is in a lot of trouble and will be the defender once again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we'll see how much damage Songduri can do with these Mutas. Really great positioning already by Yoda. Not only with Widow Mines in his main base, but also he sent a drop back into the main base, starting a turret there. He's got these Marines right at the right angle here. And the Marines alone here, not enough, but he can send the rest of his units over. There's turrets.
Nice. That was a really great hit by the Widow Mine.
Sick bait there by Yoda, and now he's actually going to take out so many of these Mutas. But the rings are the bigger problem. Baneling's rolling in as well. Can Yoda actually micro against all this firepower?
Where's the rest of Yoda's army? Moving in right now with the Widow Mines, and the Marines already on the move, trying to force those Mutalisks back. A really nice and well set up attack by Songduri, but I just don't think that it was really worth it. He lost too many Mutalisks to make that an even trade.
Yeah, so many Mutas went down there, and those are the units that he needs for map control, and it costs him the most gas to replace. He does barely squeeze out that Devastation Pit, which means he will be able to start his high and get his 3-3. Cleans up a Viking here, but not before the Viking spotted this 4th base.
Yeah. 2-2 is also nearly done for Yoda, so even though we have the Infestation bit a little bit faster for Songduri, a trend that a lot of Zerg players have been utilizing to just make sure that in the late game they still stand a chance against Terran. We will have the 3-3 much faster for Yoda than for Songduri, because Songduri has to get the Hive Tech up right now, and he is already starving for minerals. He needs that 4th base, that's why he's getting it. And Yoda, even with the sensor power, I really like his choices.
Yeah, he can already spot some of these units over here. He's running over. I don't think he expects this many though, and he doesn't split.
Yeah, he doesn't see it, and he's losing a lot, but also the banelings going up against the Marauders, always a bad choice. Widow Mines being set up everywhere. That helps a bit against those Mutalisks, but the big problem right now is that Songduri is really trying to circle around the Marines, takes down the Medivac. So very nice micro here. Banelings taken out, Mutalisks moving in. Where are those baneling hits on the Widow Mine hits? They're coming in right now, and Songduri doesn't really want to overextend himself. Leaves the rest of the banelings alone.
You know, Songduri here just having that group of units that punches through here at the natural, but will it actually be able to kill the SUs? It doesn't look like it. He basically just kills almost a depot and almost a refinery. Not a whole lot of damage done there. The bigger story, I feel, was at the 3rd base where he attacked there.
I really have to say that I like how Songduri is setting up his attacks on the other hand. With better micro, yes, he could have done much more, but the fact alone that he is moving in at the natural and then he's attacking the 3rd base, that is really well executed. He makes Yoda run from the left to the right, and the only thing that saves the Terran player here is really his impeccable multitasking. He spotted those units at the natural immediately, and he pulled all of his SCVs away. If not for that, with a good baneling hit, he could have taken out a lot of Harvesters. So both of them really just trying to make this macro and multitasking work in their attack.
Yeah. And right now, the Widowmine count is starting to get a little bit scary. He has 15 of those. Just only 7 Marauders in this mix this time. And Songduri is really making this Ling-heavy style work. He has 122 Lings on the map right now, and they are always everywhere. He's going to go for a huge counterattack while he attacks with his Mutas. He's drawing Yoda into different places, and Yoda, he's struggling to deal with this.
Songduri is trying to utilize his bigger army size. He's moving in with what he has, and the Marines are moving in once more against those Mutalisks. What Yoda could really need is the building armor here. Once again, calling down those those mules, and we have now the Marines moving in. 3-3 is on the way. Great Widowmine hits against the rest of the Zerglings.
But you know, Songduri, I feel like he lost too many Mutas again. He's down now to only 7 Mutalisks. That means he loses that control. But instead of remaking them, he makes 8 Infestors right now. So he's going into Infestors.
Oh, and there's another problem with this Wolf. I mean, the Infestors, of course, are a great addition to the banelings and Zerglings that he's utilizing quite a lot. You talked about the Zergling count already. But the 3-3 is once again delayed because of this investment in minerals and
You're
gas.
absolutely right. And this is the Carapace upgrade that he's getting up for his Mutas is going to be much less useful now. He doesn't really have very many of them on the field. Could be useful for Brewlords later. He needs to make sure he protects these Mutas again, throwing them away here.
Oh my god, he's losing all of them because he's occupied in the middle of the map. What Songduri is, or what Yoda has this one problem at his third, he needs more missile turrets there, but all the Mutalisks are now gone. A great bundle, and the banelings roll in and take down the rest of the army. But we already have Yoda in supply lead, and he is taking those 3-3 upgrades, and only the 3rd melee attack upgrade is being started for Songduri. A 4th base about to be established for Yoda. The one saving grace for the Zerg player is really that he has a great creep spread in the map.
Yeah.
He's taking another base to the top left, but I'm pretty much afraid for him that once the 3-3 upgrades hit for Yoda, the Terran player will move out and slowly but steadily take the map.
This is a really important engagement right here because this allows, if Yoda takes this, he'll get the momentum he needs with that 3-3 +1 attack, or +3 attack is already ahead for him right now. The Infestors need to pull back.
Most of them are exposed with a good stim. He could start to hunt them down, and he takes the first one. He could kill another one. No scan. There it is. Kills the second Infestor. Forces the creep back. Takes a couple of banelings with him.
What an insanely crazy game we're watching right now. So back and forth. That 5th base for Songduri is up in the north. He hasn't started mining from it yet, but he can start that very soon. On the other hand, Yoda secured a 4th base. The worker count right now highly in favor of Songduri, but that means that when they max out, Yoda's going to have the stronger army.
Yeah, and another problem that we have currently for the Zerg player is that he doesn't have Ultralisk, Chitinous Plating, or 3-3. If he can get all of those, then yes, with the Infestors, he has a pretty good chance against the Bio army. But Yoda, he knows that this is his time to shine, and he's moving in. All those drones, they have no business there, like no business at all. Infestors going down, starting to use their bundles, missing them since Yoda micros quite well. The Widowmines are still in position. Yoda in a supply lead with an upgrade lead, and he is taking base after base now. Songduri, he needs more time.
He needs more time. He did eliminate all of those medevacs, though. Every single medevac that Yoda had died. So now he has an army that he's moving across the map with, but Fungals are going to be devastating if his Infestors survive. He loses one here. He doesn't know how many Widowmines there are, and a few more drones getting caught yet again. This is really starting to take its toll on Songduri, who's now dropped down to 62 Harvesters.
I think that Songduri actually forgot the Chitinous Plating upgrade. He doesn't research it, and I don't think
he forgot it.
So he doesn't get that at all, and he needs that. Ultralisks are so much better if you get this upgrade. It's not all that expensive. And with the link count that he showed over the entire duration of the game, I would love him to get also Adrenal Glands. Yes, he's low in minerals, but those upgrades would really help him in the long run.
Yeah, these Infestors are taking some serious Widowmine damage right now. One Queen goes to tank. The Overseer's coming in now, so he will finally be able to clean this up. But, well, will he?
Oh my god, more Infestors going down. That switch for him is really something that is really good in the long run. Usually as a Zerg, you try to do a bit more damage with Ling, Muta, Baneling, but as we already mentioned earlier, his problem was really that the Mutalisk control. Wait a second, there again the Ultralisks moving in, and actually this time there are not enough Bioforces. The lack of Medivacs that you pointed out, Wolf, is really coming through for the Zerg player now. Yeah. This gives Yoda a big problem here.
It looks like Yoda's actually going to have to back off for a little while and get all his forces together before he engages.
Third base is attacked. There is a Zergling run by the 3rd base of the Terran player at the bottom right.
He's losing a lot of workers there. He's already actually lost every single Harvester. There's 2 left, and they both die as I speak. And a good engagement here in the middle of the map. And Songduri, he lost the momentum for a while, but now he has his 3-3. He's really still missing that Chitinous Plating, but otherwise, he's really taking the momentum in this game. He also takes a supply lead now. If he can clean up this last army, not quite.
Yoda is moving in, taking down a couple of additional units. The supply lead in general now goes to the Zerg player, but the better army still for Yoda on the map. I feel if Sundari would get those upgrades that we talked about earlier, that would give him so much momentum here. Think about those Ultralisks with additional armor and the Zerglings with Adrenal Glands. That would really give Yoda a huge problem to deal with.
Yeah,
he has a lot of mighty bases now though, and if he calls down a few additional mules instead of scanning ahead, then I think he has what it takes to out-produce his opponent.
Yeah. I could agree with you there. I mean, the worker count only at 36 for Yoda, but with all the mules he has, he still has a decent economy on all these bases he's got. Running in here with the banelings, good splits by Yoda. Drones in the middle of the fight yet again. And Yoda types out, GG. He just doesn't have